Hi, and welcome to House Proud, where we showcase homes all across the island. I'm Nadia. Stay with me for the next 30 minutes as we showcase a very beautiful home in the hills in Upper St. Andrew. With me today is our special guest. He's an architect and family man, Mr. Rivi Gardner. Hi, Rivi.
Hi, Nadia.
Welcome to House Proud.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me, how long have you been in this profession?
Nadia, I've been an architect for more than 30 years.
That's
Can
about
you believe
my
that?
age.
Yes.
On a note, tell us, if someone is thinking about constructing a home, building a home for the first time, renovating, anything in that manner, what are some of the issues they need to address first and foremost before they even get into that venture?
One of the things, Nadia, that is important for them to do is to hire a professional, mainly to get an architect involved right away. The architect will then advise them on how to proceed. Probably the first thing the architect will ask for is, what is your wish list? What would you like the house to look like? What are the needs you have? What number of bedrooms? Size of your kitchen? How many children you have? And very important, what budget? How much money you have to spend?
Yeah, that's a major factor because it really can be very costly. Rivi, you were so gracious to loan us your house for this shoot. I know you were the one that actually designed your home. What was your vision initially when you saw this piece of land?
Nadia, the thing about getting to a piece of land first is that you have to be able to understand the particular needs of the house, the person that you're designing the house for. In my case, it was a family, my own family, and as a result, I had an opportunity to test some ideas that I've always been trying to get involved with. So first thing, you get a brief you need to get, and at the time my wife gave me a very simple brief. She wanted a secure house and she wanted a place that the family could enjoy. And she said the rest is all up to you.
Well, I guess now is more than ever an appropriate time for us to get a tour of Rivi's house. So join me, but before we do, let's go to commercial break. We'll be right back. Rivi, your door, how come you used an arch door as opposed to a straight? You know, everybody normally has a rectangular shaped door.
You know, one of the things we spoke about earlier was the influences that I used, that made the architecture of this home different.
Yeah.
One of the things is the Spanish influence,
Okay.
and they use the arch a lot. And it reminded me of some of the things we looked at when we were designing.
Oh, hi. Welcome back. Well, we're about to go into Rivi's house, and I can't wait because I just hear it's so lush and beautiful inside. So, Rivi, you lead the way.
Welcome, Nadia.
Oh my God.
You like it?
Love it. This is so beautiful. This whole outdoor, indoor concept. Oh my goodness. Come, I need to see more.
This is what is the entire concept. This is what the essence of the house is. The ability to have in the outside, inside, and yet you're at home.
So this, you would call this what? Like a...
This is a courtyard.
A courtyard.
Yeah, this is a courtyard. There's a particular surprise I have for you though, which is each one of these windows is a painting for you to look at. You get a different view of the city through each window. And that is what replaces the need for paintings along this wall. You get the real thing.
What I like about it is the fact that you don't have regular windows, but more shutters, so that you really don't miss anything of the view. This is amazing, Rivi. Oh my word.
You remember we were talking earlier about the influences.
Yes.
The shutters is very much a Spanish feeling to
it.
it. And it also combines this feeling with the inside, with the courtyard inside.
Because the Spanish do a lot of entertaining outside.
And you know that there's siesta time in the middle of the day, so they spend a lot of time at home, and they need the privacy of their space, even in the middle of the day. So the essential thing here to remember is that this is the focus. This is the essence of the home, is where the fountain is.
I mean, I've just been here for what, 5 minutes, and there's such a tranquility, a calmness, a peace, and I guess it's because you've used those chi elements, the water, you have the wind, you have ample light
Lighting.
coming into the house. This is beautiful. Oh, word.
The other thing, Nadia, that I was important for me to explore at the time was the use of local materials. And you'll notice that I've combined them in a kind of a harmonious way, because you also have to, you know, understand that nature is the essence of our being, and that you have the bricks, which are locally produced, the tiles, a brick
Right.
tile, which is locally produced, the stone, which adorns the staircase, decorates the staircase,
Right.
is a river stone with different shades, you know, put together in a mosaic form.
Right.
The walls, which you will notice, are decorated also with limestone. And I mean, the craftsmanship, the time that it takes, I don't know if you have those kind of craftsmen anymore who would take that time to put those walls in that kind of shape and form.
Also, I noticed your artwork, your different pieces. You have from canvas pieces to pieces made out of steel, wooden pieces. Where do you get these? Is it just all local, or you've collected them over the years?
I'm glad you
over
mentioned it.
those 30 years.
Yes, yes, that's part of it. But one of the things that I always try to do when I'm designing is that I have to combine the art with the architecture. It's a personal thing of mine. And so over the years, I've collected a wide range of pieces of art, sculpture, painting, and so on. And I have always liked the local artists. You'll see that most of the work here is done by Jamaican artists.
Oh, that's
and I have a couple of favorites. But you'll also be able to see some that I have picked up on traveling abroad. And that's one of the things I do in order to enhance my creative side, is to get influences from other parts of the world. Yes, and you'll see that some, you know, even in the furniture, you'll see some Indonesian
Are these from Indonesia?
These are from Bali.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
We have your entertainment center here, and across the way here we have your dining room. No matter where you go, I think the natural trend is to have a rectangular dining table or a square dining table, but this is like Knights of the Round Table. This is beautiful. Was this made here locally as well? Or?
Yeah, this is all locally made. The particular form relates to the shape of the dining room. The form, you notice there's the steps are rounded on the end, and it was just to reflect that particular thing.
And on that
I
note,
a lot of children. I have a lot of children, so we needed a lot of
space, right? Seats.
Yes.
What I noticed too is your different usage of shapes. So like you have your porthole windows, you know, the curves, yes, in the flooring, your columns, cylindrical shapes, all really and truly the first time I've noticed that it would complement each other that way.
That is part of the composition. As an architect, we understand, we try to fit together these pieces to get a pleasing composition. And that is what I have done with the architecture of this space. The particular area here, it's like my art area. You notice that because I've used the other space for the real pictures.
Right.
This is where a lot of the art is presented. And I have some of my favorites, and you know, a lot of them have to do with nature.
Yes. And woman.
Yes, and there's another element as well, music. This particular one is a Fitzharrier, for example. And this one, and it's a tribute to Duke Ellington. I don't know if you see the piano.
Yes, I do. The little keyboard right there.
So it's those sorts of things. One of my favorites is this one, which is from Cuba, which I bought in a marketplace in Cuba, and it because of it's a car, and Cubans have these old cars.
That's the kind of cars.
But what I liked was that I've never seen a painting that was done in the rain. It's actually rain falling.
Rain falling, yes.
Yeah, you see.
That's cute.
It's
Very
lovely.
neat. Very creative. I love your taste in art, Rivi, I must say.
Thank you.
Hi, we're still here at Rivi's house, and as you can see and hear the beautiful waterfall behind me. Rivi, we need to talk some more. I really want to get inside your head to see, one, why the whole concept of having the outdoor, indoor, what does that do for you? I mean, this is your home, so.
Nadia, I would like to start a little bit at the beginning. Because one of the things is that when you're designing a house, you start with a basic concept, an idea. And how do I get the idea? We marry two things. We have the client's brief, which I spoke to you about
Right.
before, and you have the site. And you work with those two elements to come with some concept, a concept which is going to satisfy all of those needs that the clients have and deal with address the environmental issues on the site and so on.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you, because you would have had a bare piece of land with trees, maybe fruit trees or whatever have you, and you want to put this beautiful lush home that is actually 3 levels in this space. How do you do that without destroying the environment?
That was a challenge, and that's one of the things that this house does achieve. If you notice, when people are building on the hillsides in Jamaica, they often make the mistake of not having the house sit on the land. You actually see the house sticking out.
Sticking out, right.
And you see these many levels sticking out, and it's not very attractive. It actually is the faces the natural beauty of the land. What we have done here is that we have put the house into the landscape. And if you view the house from, say, the street below, which is a fair distance down, you won't even recognize that there's a house here because it sits tucked into the environment.
Right.
We have used 3 levels here, not one on top of the other, like a high-rise building, but on following the slope of the land.
So kind of like a step,
Yes,
like a staircase.
it steps with the land,
Right.
and we have the landscaping, which comes in and is compatible with the existing environment.
So it's easier when you build a house, as you say, knowing that you have levels, step levels, as opposed to, as you say, sitting on top of the hill.
Yeah, you work in harmony with the land, with the
land.
slope of the land, with the trees around. And in this particular case, we have water, which is part of the whole environment of the hills of Kingston and the hills of Jamaica. It is absolutely a very important thing to be in harmony with the nature. You know, that's one of the things I work with a lot.
As we sit here, I can see grill work and stuff like that. We had mentioned in the beginning that one of the factors necessary was security and privacy. So how did you get around that? Because it's quite an open land, but I'm noticing the wing that is actually your bedrooms, which is on the opposite side of the entertainment center section where we are. Is that the only grilling? Is that how you would have?
Yes. On essential things in Jamaica, that one, and particularly in Kingston, you have to be concerned with security. But I didn't want to compromise the openness of the plan and the ability to get access to the views, these lovely views that you will see.
Because I mean, the last thing you want is to feel like you're in a cage.
In a cage or locked away in a prison.
Right.
And we also have this beautiful wind that comes in the days we're getting it, the sea breeze, and at nights we get the wind from the hills. The northeast trade winds come rushing down at us at nights. If you live in this house, you realize that probably only 2 months in the year that you need air conditioning. We combine not just the traditional way of doing things, the influences of the historical thing, but we also as architects have to contemplate the modern technology, the world that we live in today. You'll notice that one of the security issues one of the security systems that we have is a camera. We have a monitor that monitors the gate. That whoever comes to the gate, I can see who it is. They ring a bell, and I can stay in my bedroom and look and see that there's somebody at the gate. I can tell who it is before I let them in. So this is part of the thing that is thought about with respect to security.
Knowing that you're on a hill, we obviously have the hurricane seasons. How does that affect our entertainment and dining area? Knowing that it is an open concept courtyard, is it because it's like a bay-like, the wind's not going to affect what's going on too much? Because I think that here might get flooded, but I don't know. You tell me. You've been through some hurricanes, so what happens at that point?
I must tell you, I had a wonderful experience in Gilbert, because the house was just nearing, I think it was just nearing completion. And this was the only house up here, because at that time they had a lot of squatters up in the hills, and they were all blown away. And this was like a safe haven, because the people were able to move into my entertainment area and sleep. And it was really fantastic. The thing is that we designed for the tropical hurricanes. You'll notice the slope of the roofs, for example.
Right.
They are steeply sloped, which allows the wind to move freely, and it actually helps us with the windows that we have. The wind blows through as well. What we made sure in the hurricanes is to move the furniture out of here, and really just because of the rain. But because of its openness, the wind blows through very freely. You can actually watch your hurricane happening from here.
That's quite unique. I'm looking at some of the masks that you have on the staircase that leads to your sleeping area. Where did you get those pieces from?
Those are a local artist.
Local artists.
Mr. Pearson.
Boy, Rivi, the local artists, them must tip them hat to you, because you support them all the way.
Yeah, one of the trademarks of my particular work is that I attempt at every opportunity to integrate art with the architecture. And we have some of the most wonderful, talented artists in Jamaica. And you'll notice there's also sculpture as well. I have some favorites, I must admit. Fitz Harrick is a good friend of mine, and you'll see a number of pieces here by Fitz. He's an absolutely talented person.
It's so unfortunate that we can't be here at night, but I could very well imagine what your window portraits look like.
Well, I'm going to make sure I invite you for dinner one evening, and you can watch the light change, because it actually, each picture changes with the light. You can, if you come in a day like today, you'll see one particular picture. When it gets to be dusk, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, you see the lights coming up, that's another picture. And at night, when it's dark, when the moon is up, it's a completely different picture again. And if you stay and have breakfast with me in the morning, you'll be able to see another picture.
You guys hear that? We're going to stay and have breakfast with Rivi so we can see all the necessary changes and different elements and aspects of his home in this lush, wonderful, to me, it's just so tranquil here. I wish you could all be here physically with me to feel what I feel, but at least you see what I'm seeing. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, we'll showcase the sleeping area of Rivi's home. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back. We're here at Rivi Gardner's home, and now to go and see where all the action happens in the sleeping area. Rivi, we're here in your kids' room. What made you decide to design the room like this?
Well, my son at that time was a very active teenager, and he wanted a space for himself and his friends to hang out. Hence the loft. And they have a lot of fun climbing that ladder and going up into the loft. They play board games, hang out with music, or even sometimes do homework up there.
And this is the bedroom. So Rivi, well, we've come now into your master bedroom, and I've noticed you still have, I could say, a loft again, but it's two separate areas. Why did you do it that way?
Because it functions very well in terms of how the family lives. Because of the number of children that we had at the time, we had a lot of happenings in the master bedroom. And in that area that you see is an activity area. The television is there, the computer is there, and we usually gather there after dinner. And it has to do with one of the things about security, privacy. It's away from the public, sort of semi-public areas like the entertainment area. Right. And as a family, we can sit and chat and play Scrabble or what have you.
I guess we can now move on to the pool.
Yes.
Do you swim
by any chance?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I used to swim in my school.
All right.
You know, we're wrapping up and we're winding down our show, and it's been such a pleasure having you. And we thank you so much for having us at your home. But before we go, what sort of tips can you give our viewers, ones who may be venturing into buying a home and renovating, or even as you've done many years ago, fresh piece of land and want to build? What sort of tips can you give them to get them on the right path?
I think that, as you know, it's probably the most important investment a person can make is to your home, what you spend on doing your home. And firstly, I think you should find the right location, the piece of property that is most appropriate to your needs. For example, if you had kids and wanted them near to a school or near to shopping and so on, you probably want something in a more urban environment, which may mean that you may have to buy an existing home and refurbish it. Or you might want to start with a brand new piece of land, which is, for an architect, is very exciting as well. And you need to get proper advice. You need to have the right kind of ingredients to go into making a design. For example, I think when we spoke about budgets earlier,
Yes.
you know, the affordability question is very important. What can you afford to build? Because you're going to be paying for this property for the rest of your life. So you fix that budget based on your affordability. You will get an architect who will advise you on what you can build for that kind of money. And then you fit your needs into that particular budget. A key element also is when you're doing the design, you should be efficient with the design.
Practical,
Practical, yeah. You need to set priorities. If you have a smaller budget, then you have to be worried about what areas are the areas that you need to be emphasizing. Do you do a lot of cooking, entertaining in the kitchen kind of thing?
So rooms can be your sizes of rooms can be dependent on.
And you don't waste space and circulation. Don't have long passages or huge retaining walls that you don't need and all that kind of thing. So, you know,
and most importantly, please save our environment. Don't destroy our lands and cut down our trees just to put up a home. It's really important that we do save the earth. Rivi, I think that's it for tips pretty much, or do you have anything else to add?
That's it.
Again, it's been such a pleasure having you here. Thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much for looking at House Proud. Do stay tuned until we go to, who knows, some neck of the woods next time. I'm Nadia. And until, may God bless your home. Bye.